Talon Wyatt hits the screen, got stories bold and keen. Old soldier, sharp and mean, tells truths they've never seen. Rugby lover with a roar, Africa flowing in his core. YouTube rants they can't ignore, his passion makes his heart soar. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Military mind, keen and wise, truths come out, no disguise. South African skies, in his eyes, hear his voice, no surprise. Retired soldier with the fight, in the dark he brings the light. Angry rants, truths ignite, join the cause, join the ride. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Enemies knocked on his door, trolls attack, but he's more with each click. Watch him soar on the truth waves, he explodes. Colonel Wyatt, hear his call, shining light through it all. Trolls may rise, but he'll stand tall. Subscribe now, don't miss the brawl. Right now, don't miss the brawl.
Take a picture.
I mean, it's just insane. Oh, it's been 3 weeks. Okay, get a grip. I mean, honestly, people have no idea what's involved here. A thorough background investigation must be completed to prove who you are, where you're from, what you're saying is true. That has to take place. There's an administrative process that has to take place. Interviews have to be conducted. Medical screening has to be done. All this stuff takes time. Hey folks, welcome back. This is Chris in central Pennsylvania. Not a planned for broadcast, but a special one inspired by a letter that I received. Well, who gets letters anymore? An email. I got an email. So this email, the gentleman's very polite, or lady, or trans. Maybe it's one of those. I haven't decided which it is. I'm not going to tell you. The identity of the person will not be discussed here. It's not about the identity. It's not about embarrassing anybody, but it's about explaining to people expectations and just how frustrating this all can be for everybody. So this was an email I received from someone about the refugee program. And their understanding of the refugee program is wildly off the mark. So if you're listening, ma'am, sir, my intent is not to embarrass you. I'm not mentioning who you are once again. I'm simply reading this to the Colonel. And I'm going to give you my responses. Okay? So, I don't know. Natalie, could we bring up the lights so we can read here? It's a little dark in here, Natalie. There you go. That's a little bit better. Okay, so Natalie brought up the lights. Thank you for that, Natalie. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put the reading glasses on so I don't have a little trouble here. First, the person said, I wish to thank you again for helping us, but not only for the Afrikaners. Secondly, thank you for the template. They'd asked me for the questions, and I'd sent the questions to this person. But now the reason for my email, I think the term refugee is incorrect like you and others wants and says it to be. Okay, so this is not. I don't want people to be abusive towards this person, okay? Comes from a misunderstanding or a worldview that's incorrect. So let's just Be calm. Let's not beat the person up and call them names because you'll hurt people's feelings. There's no need for that. So the way the USA's process is handled is more like selective emigration with perks, is how this person describes it. This is an Afrikaner in South Africa. And I presume it's an Afrikaner. It could be a color person, but I presume it's Afrikaner. And so that's in all caps and underlined, okay, to make a point. To which I reply, wrong. Under the Immigration Nationality Act of 1980, in-country refugee status may be granted for people suffering from unjust persecution, which is what the basis for granting this was. It's not emigration. You are emigrating from your country, but you're not an immigrant, you're a refugee. And understand by this person, hey, Ernst, thank you for the 100 Rand super chat. I didn't see that because that's turned off. Let me turn that back on the alert box. Thank you for that 100 Rand. Yeah, okay, so this is the next thing from the person. You, by you I mean the USA, are selecting who you want. Refugees to me is when you're running for your life. Think evacuation of Saigon. Those are truly refugees. There are some of us who needs to get out now. Okay, I appreciate where he's coming from, but I said wrong. Cuba, Bosnia-Herzegovina, South Africa equals in-country refugee status. He said, you are not, like you said shortly after February 7th, accepting anyone, old, young, single, married, or in a wheelchair, as long as you are an Afrikaner. Wrong. Indeed, we are accepting people of all different statuses. I said, your refusal to accept reality does not change that. Does not change that, folks. The author of the letter says, I've only seen able-bodied people in the first batch. No elderlies, no wheelchairs. By elderly, I mean people over 60 years old. I'm sorry. Did you miss the interview I conducted with Santana Hurley, with her mom, who's over 60 and retired? That's one example. I haven't put other people on camera who are elderly because they wouldn't want to go on the camera. So, and I said, once again, wrong. There was an over 60 retired refugee in my live stream interview. That's the one with Santana. Maggie Janssen, thank you for the €5. Appreciate it for everything I'm doing. You're very welcome. So there was an over 60 person in my live stream with Santana Hurley. Yeah. And I said, your unwillingness to see that does not make it untrue. And then my question was, do you know all 100 plus South Africans now in the United States under the program? Do you know the 70-year-olds who arrived this week in the Western United States? I do. The fact that the person hasn't seen them, it doesn't make it untrue. It doesn't make it untrue. So there, that's page 1. Page 2. He said, or she said, or it said, you are also only selecting people with means. You, in your own words, said if you don't have 600 Rand for passport, then don't apply. Simple as that. What if that 600 is the only money left for a month to feed your wife and kids, or for medicine because the state will not help because you are white? Wrong. You have selective hearing. I said make a plan. Boer maak 'n plan. That's what I said. You're hearing what you want to hear and complaining to me about it. That doesn't change anything. Somali refugees living in camps in Kenya for 15 years have it far worse than South Africans. Yeah. Also, when I said if you don't have 600 for a passport, then don't apply, that was in response to trolls and whiners in my chat. Those of you who are here know this. They were moaning and pissing and crying in the chat. I don't have 600 Rand. I don't have 600 Rand. Which runs contrary to the argument I get all the time about how Boers are self-sufficient and they're self-starters and they work hard. It doesn't sound like it. And so my response to the people that were moaning on that live stream was, if you don't have money for a passport, then don't apply. The passport requirement is not something the United States impinges upon you. That's what the world impinges upon you. And what about the thousands of rands to travel for an interview? If you live, for instance, I'll pick a town here, but I don't know if this is where the person lives, but they said Oudtshoorn, so we'll go with that. And maybe a second or third. Thea van Straten owns a guest house and farm. Most of us are not nearly as privileged and well off. Well, owning a farm and owning a guest house is not privilege. I mean, I don't understand where people's warped worldview are. If you've worked for something and earned it, that's not privilege. That's hard work, labor, entrepreneurialism. Everything I have or don't have is a consequence of my effort in life. Nothing I have was handed to me. I could go through my house and probably pick out a dozen things that were actually gifts to me at some point in my life, other than the mementos given on trips recently in South Africa. But set that aside. What do I have in my house? My televisions, my speakers, my automobiles, my house, my furniture, my clothing. None of those were gifts, except for an odd tie or shirt and sweater here and there occasionally. I earned those things. That's not privilege. And it's not privileged that Thea had a farm and a guest house. And that's the first interview. What about the other people who came over? Most of us are not nearly as privileged and well off. We live in a caravan after losing and selling the last of our property to get away from the persecution of whites in South Africa. So this is a little snarky on my part, but I said, do you want me to pay for your interviews? The U.S. government has kindly offered you an escape. You don't appear to desire that escape. Whom have you asked for a ride? See, this is the problem. We live in a caravan. We have no money. Okay. How far are you away from Joburg or Pretoria? Have you tried to ask someone for a ride? Have you stood in a street corner and begged for money? Have you sold plasma? Do you smoke? Have you stopped smoking? Do you drink? Have you stopped drinking? I mean, these are what boer do. These are what self-starters do. They come up with a plan. They don't complain about things. And again, I'm not picking on this person. This is something we heard frequently on the channel until recently. It kind of died off, but we heard this all the time. Our people, some of whom ended up in a squatter camp because of BEE or affirmative action and lost everything, are now stuck. You just don't want them, just because they can't afford to apply for a passport or go for interviews. Wrong. Your false inferences are not true. Who does not want whom? If that's what you believe, then the question becomes, why is it our responsibility as America to take care of you? You were not there feeding me when I ate peas at every meal, starving to death in the summer of 1982, or when I lived off of food stamps as a child and was embarrassed to go to the market and the butcher paying with food stamps. You weren't there for me. Why is it my job to take care of you? When did South Africans become America's problem or responsibility? And our elderly. Once the Papaja connects the aircon, I don't know what that is, they will be disbanded and left to fend for themselves. Many will just perish. Well, that's kind of a blanket statement. It's kind of hard for me to answer that. I said, I don't know what a papaya is. I don't know what that means. I said, he says, you are selective in who you want and will allow in the U.S. You are giving us an out, but with many conditions attached. I understand about criminals, but a criminal check from SAPS is quick and easy. No other ways are available to confirm it. It could be made a condition to provide such certificate. It's free and takes a week or two after applying the SAP station. Wrong, and wrong on many conditions. So first off, wrong, there are 3 conditions to come to America, no more. You must be a South African national of Afrikaner ethnicity or racial minority, and past instances of racial persecution or genuine fear of future persecution. Finished and clear. There are no other requirements to qualify for the program. The passport is what you need to get out of South Africa. It's not a program requirement. We also need identification. What, you think we're going to trust fake South African ID cards made by Nigerians in Joburg? Come on. Good Lord. And as far as a criminal check, do you honestly think the United States government is going to accept a criminal police clearance certificate from the corrupt, inept South African police service? I mean, it kind of undermines the whole argument. If you're persecuted by a government that's oppressing you because you're a racial minority, why would that government give you a clearance certificate to let you get an advantage and leave the country? How can we trust anything from the SAPs? We don't rely on that. And also, there are no other ways available to confirm it. That's nonsense. I'm an experienced criminal investigator. I'm a federal law enforcement official. I'm a counterintelligence officer and an intelligence analyst and officer. There are many ways to determine these things, not SAPs. SAPs is the last place we need to go to get this information. You're very much mistaken, sir, ma'am. Very much mistaken. It is not truly refugee status, not by a long shot. Wrong. You clearly do not know what a refugee is. Only your Hollywood interpretation of one. We are, by the grace of God, still spared and alive and will make a plan to go for an interview when eventually called. Now, I find that sentence ironic. After the person just spent 2.5 pages dumping on me, complaining about the program, and then says, oh, but, we're going to make a plan. We're going to go. So what was all that for? What's with all the excitement here? My response was, excellent. So why have you been dumping on me for the past 1.5 pages? Because we're making a point here, SDP. Every day goes by, a farmer or Afrikaner is murdered and attacked because of the color of their skin. And the USA offered us sanctuary, but are taking their time about it and then will only accept a selective group of people. No one offered you sanctuary. That would only occur in South Africa with U.S. troops on the ground. And folks, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. I have a picture in my mind of the official conducting interviews sitting in his office. When the door opens and the candidate enters, he will immediately, all caps, decide yes or no based on what he sees that first instant. Too old, too sickly, too fat, too sloppy, too poor, based on his or her worn out but clean clothes. In a wheelchair, etc. I'm absolutely sure I'm correct about this. So my question is, then why bother? You clearly have an opinion about someone you've never met. You say you're absolutely sure that they'll make this decision. So why waste your time? I said, regards. Oh, he said, the person says, regards and keep up the good work. We watch all your posts and have subscribed. Well, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that, but I don't understand the whole email. This letter to the colonel, I don't understand it. What's the point? I don't get it. Yeah, exactly. We're not a dumping ground for other people's problems. And as far as accepting people, of course we do. We took a Congolese woman who was morbidly obese with an infant child who was nothing but a drain on our society, costing us resources, who couldn't speak a word of English, and granted her asylum status here 9 years ago. She's flourishing now, speaks English fluently, and is doing quite well, working in Lancaster, Ohio, Pennsylvania. So this is nonsense. That's your interpretation of it. But folks, this is an example of the sort of stuff I get every day, all day long. Every day, all day long. This is the sort of stuff I get from people. And people are like, yeah, Chris, you have patience. You have no idea how much patience I have. How much patience I have. The amount of patience I have is unbelievable when responding to things like that. Most of you are like, just ignore it. Well, I can ignore that. That's true. But it's illustrative of a point, and that's what we're trying to make a point here. I have no idea how many Congolese in Vermont. Never heard of any Congolese in Vermont. I just know about a Congolese woman who was beaten by her military officer husband while he was attending the Army War College. Instead of deporting him, they let him finish the school year, which was wrong, and they gave her asylum status, which I participate in. Hence, I have knowledge of the U.S. asylum process because I actually went through it with a Congolese woman and her small children. Yep. Yeah. Hey, Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. So, yeah, patience. This is more than patience. So, look, again, the refugee program, the letter to the colonel, it's not for white South Africans. It's not for Boer. It's not for farmers. The program is for South African nationals who are Afrikaner ethnicity or a racial minority suffering unjust persecution in the past and can state the case or have a genuine fear of it happening again. Those are the conditions. You must have a passport to travel internationally. That's not my decision. That's not my making. And understand that in-country refugee status is different. If you were in a camp living in a third country, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees could get you a travel document. But that isn't the case. They're not going to do that for South Africans. Hence, you need to have a passport. Otherwise, those evil South African immigration officials are not going to let you leave the airport or the seaport when you try, or the border crossing. It's as simple as that. As simple as that, folks. Not rocket science. And that's not a condition. And if people don't like it, that's too bad. That's too bad. I cannot believe that people are complaining about being expected to have the minimal basic documents that a person in the 21st century must have. How people in South Africa got away without having passports all these years is beyond me. Beyond me, particularly after 9/11. Most Americans didn't have a passport, but after 9/11, most Americans now have passports. Can you imagine having a country of 300 million people and updating passports every year for at least 30 million people? Think about that. There aren't that many passports, about 240 million are issued, but you get my point. 24 million a year. Yeah, Sandra, that's because you didn't get a notification because I listed this stream 10 minutes before I went live, so you won't get one. Oh, when the crap hits the fan. Okay, I know what a papaya is, but I've never heard that before. Who says that? Thank you, Sean Nodia. I'd never heard that before. I know what a papaya is. I eat papaya. It's actually, papaya juice is pretty good. Yeah. No, it's not a hoax letter, Bell. It's the person says they're watching, but I mean, they just want to vent. And they're wrong about every single thing the person said is wrong. Every single thing is wrong. First off, this is refugee status. It's our law. And our country decides. So that's how it goes. Anyway, I just want to get this out there. We were betrayed by the U.S. and Angola. Depends on your perspective. Difficult for old South Africans to trust us. You weren't betrayed by the U.S. and South Africa, Stefan. Your pussy coward leaders retreated. They retreated. Why is it the National Party did what the hell they wanted when it suited them, but when it came time to take Luanda, they backed out? For those on the ground, the soldiers I've talked to who were at the leading edge of that attack, they couldn't sustain any further. That's the bottom line. The SADF was spent. It was out of resources. It couldn't get to Luanda. So you can believe the lies and the propaganda spewed by bitter enders about Angola in 1975, 1976, or you can do some research and believe the truth and actually talk to veterans who were there in the foxholes. I have. Now, that doesn't mean every veteran had that experience, but the point is that, yeah, anyway, so no, you weren't betrayed. The U.S. didn't betray South Africa. South Africans were betrayed by their government. They betrayed you. Yep. Yeah, hopefully they're feeling better. Yes, Charles. Hopefully they're feeling better. And Aaron Mustard, thanks for your time and effort devoted to all of us. You're very welcome. Thank you for the 100 Rand Super Chat on the last day of the month. Wow, I didn't expect that. Okay. People need to get away from the idea the U.S. is dumping ground. That's right, Side Offer Connor. 3 to 6 months to get an unabridged birth date according to Home Affairs. That is useless. What else? Went on 11 June for passport and ID card, and they said 14 days still waiting. Yeah, that sucks. Twinkle Stardust says this just came up in my feed. Well, welcome to you, Twinkle Stardust. Henny Pretorius. As soon as people realize USA doesn't need them, the better. Honestly, it's crazy that there's so many of them in the same queue as me and my family. Oh, milk and honey. Yes, it was just okay. One of the 59ers was morbidly obese. Exactly, Napoleon Dynamite. We saw that in the picture. Morbidly obese. Most of them were obese. We've got retirees. So it's people just selectively seeing and hearing things. Sounds like someone with more than one personality. Okay, Charles. Yikes. Why didn't Trump say what to CR? What are you talking about, Pablo? I don't see what you're talking about there. Hey, El Maurice, why you just got back? The groundwork for getting you, Colonel, to start a GoFundMe. I'm not starting any GoFundMes. Sure, South Africa, HA is smiling with all the revenue. Oh, they're collecting a ton of money at Home Affairs from revenue. Hey, Flying Dutchman, Paul Fun. Thank you for the 140 Rand. Appreciate that. Okay. At least we watch your content. Yeah, thank you, Sandra. I appreciate that. And Dylan says, thanks for being true. Still busy catching up with your last stream. Okay, CJ. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of money flowing to Home Affairs. The reason I never trust the cancer is where the rot started. Agreed. Colonel, for me, it's simple. USA was not there for 30 years. I had to work and find a way to make a month. So if I take a week or longer, stay in way better. So yeah, gotcha, honey. I have to say, I like the jersey and hats off. You like this? It's Southern Kings jersey. These are hard to come by. I got this one at the sneaker store at OR Tambo. They happen to have one on the shelf, and so I picked it up because the actual jersey I have that was sent to me by the guy that used to be the coach down there, drawing a blank right now. I know him. I can't think of it right now. He sent me an actual jersey from the Kings, and it was taken to Bermuda, and the Bermuda guy mailed it to me eventually from Bermuda 10s. Anyway, the jersey is an actual scrum half jersey for a scrum half that played for the Kings, a real jersey, and it's too small for me. Yep. Hey, Monza. Okay, Braun, what's going on? Okay, red looks good. Well, thank you, Dylan. Harry says, thanks for all the support. You're very welcome. Yeah, it's the Southern Kings, man. Southern Kings, yes. Anyway, I got this one. This is for a song. I got this like for 150 Rand. Oof. Good deal, huh? Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, you can see this is from when they were briefly in the Guinness Pro 14. This is a collector's item now, right? Nobody's going to have a Pro 14 jersey anymore. I'm well, Braun. Thank you. I just came on to read this stuff. And look, again, let's not pick on the person. I'm not targeting them. But I did take time to respond to their email. I mean, this is just a whole misunderstanding. It's not for whites. It's not for farmers. It's not for Afrikaners. It's for South Africans suffering unjust racial discrimination, which includes Afrikaners and includes farmers. And it is legal, and it is the way it works. We've offered refugee status to people suffering unjust persecution who have not fled their country in the past. It's allowed under our law. Who cares what the UN definition is, and who cares what somebody's Hollywood understanding of a refugee is based on what they've seen on television and watching the fall of Saigon? That's a refugee. That's one type of refugee. There's many type of refugees. Again, I think the example I gave from the very beginning of this is that if you're a Syrian and you're a homosexual and people find out about it, what do they do to homosexuals in Syria? They drop them off of roofs to their death. Do we wait until you're dead and say, oh, we'll give you status now? No. No. Take you out of the country where you're in jeopardy. That's how it happens. We take people out of the, yes, I'm not a 5'2" scrum half, but we take people who are in jeopardy out of a place in jeopardy and get them to a place where they're safe. That's how the real world works. So again, this kind of, and I want to elaborate on this a little bit because it reminds me, I don't think they watch the videos. I think a lot of people are lazy and don't watch the video. I think a lot of people are also very demanding. I mean, we owe you nothing, South Africa. South Africans, Afrikaners, Boers, Tswana, we owe you nothing. Your mess is self-inflicted. You elected these ghouls. You re-elected these ghouls. And I don't want to hear, I'm white, I didn't vote for them. You're just as responsible. You're all responsible for this going back to 1994, even if you weren't alive then. So it's not my problem. It's not my creation. We didn't come up with this. You created this cesspool, not us. South Africa did. And we've offered an opportunity for people suffering unjustly to get out. And for that, we get all kinds of crap. It's taking too long. It's unfair. It's selective. Why do I have to pay 600 Rand? I don't want to get an influenza jab. You know what? You don't have to apply. You don't have to apply. And you can be miserable and keep complaining and wait for someone to break in your home. I mean, honestly, I don't understand. So is this the attitude you're going to have when you get over here? If someone who says this, wow, it took too long. I had to wait 3 months. Wow. What have you been in the last 35 years? No, it wasn't Robbie Kent. It was von Strat. What's his name? Oh, man. Who was it, guys? One of my mods. Southern Kings. Let's see. Southern Kings coach. Oh, okay. It wasn't the coach. I'm sorry. No. Bram van Straten. Assistant coach. Bram van Straten. That's who gave me that jersey. Sorry. That's what I was trying to think. Bram van Straten. Keep confusing with Thea. Bram van Straten. That's who it was. He was assistant coach. Yeah. Bram was on the program. Yep. That's what it was, Charles. Bram. Yeah. So it just, it's just like the whole thing. So when I was in South Africa last time, understand my time is very prescribed. There's only so many days. There's only so many places I can go. So many things. Many things are scheduled. Plus, this trip was kind of odd because I didn't announce it because of the death threats. So I get there, and then Johnny Come Lately is discovering the channel. Like, how come you don't go to squatter camps? I do go to squatter camps all the time. I've been to Chatsworth. I've been to Kailicha. I've been to Alexandria. What are you talking about? I've been to Shoshuguvwe. But you don't go to Afrikaner squatter camps. Are you going to take me there? Do I have authority to walk around there? Can I just walk around? And so I was asked to go to Phoenix, a place called Phoenix, west of Pretoria. So I carved a day out of my time that I could not afford to do, dropped bait, left, and went there. But I didn't know where it was. It doesn't appear on a map anywhere. It's not a formal geographic location. It's just it's a farm that they've allowed people to live on. So I asked for help. People gave me help, and I was directed to the wrong place. Well-intentioned, ARC Philadelphia, they call it. I was directed to the wrong place, which turned out to be about 25 kilometers from where I need to be. So then I was given directions to another place. I went to this place, and it's on the side of a hill in the Mahalisburg with a big gate, and there's nobody there. It's locked. And a number, and I called it, and nobody answered. So there was another number. I called someone. I said, hey, how do I find this place? And they said, let me see if I can get someone. So somebody sent me directions, and I got to the right place. Except I wasn't in the right place. I was about 1.5 kilometers from where I needed to be. And I waited there for half an hour for someone to show up, and that gentleman came and helped me. Very helpful. Then we went to the right place. I got there with my time very, very limited here. I got there. And wasn't that the day I went to Opiplas, if I remember correctly? Had to drive all the way back to Opiplas. Or no, it wasn't Opiplas. It was the day after when I went to Centurion. That's what it was. I went to Centurion. So I get there, and I come in, and nobody knows anything about me coming. I got a message from someone who's a resident there who implied that he was coordinating a visit. So I went. And they were very kind and welcomed me in and with open arms, the people. And one of my viewers lived right next to the lady that runs the place. She manages it. Lovely lady. Fantastic. But the owner knew nothing about me being there. So she offered to give me a tour, which she says she gives to people all the time. So they gave me a tour. I took some photographs. We talked, showed me around all the stuff they do, the recycling and their mess hall and everything. It was lovely. It was lovely. And I saw people hanging out there. They have an interesting setup. So after I left, people ran me down, called me names, lied about me, and spread rumors about me at that place. That was my reward. That was my reward for going there and covering a squatter camp, being treated like shiza. That was my reward. So I heard the plight. I went there. Time I could not spare. And instead of resting, relaxing, seeing things, enjoying myself, relaxing, I'm killing myself to go to a place to get people attention because I was told there were homeless people who lived there who knew nothing about the refugee program. Could you come talk to them? So I went out of my way and wasted hours driving out there when I could have chilled and get treated like shit. So, I don't know what to tell you, folks. I don't know what to tell you about this stuff. Yeah, if you can't fend for yourself, what are you going to do in the U.S.? Remember me asking WhatsApp for anyone who was right? Thank you very much, Dusty. Yes, I remember that. And I'd say it was crazy. Some people are ungrateful and spoiled. It's like being unhappy when you get socks for Christmas. Be grateful you're getting something. Yeah, Antoinette. Some people are entitled. We're just thankful and waiting patiently. Our time will come, says Monica. Yeah, people should watch the videos. Hey, Francois, you've caught up. Currently, you're responsible for all the 10 million illegals that poured in the U.S. during Biden's term. Yes, I am. I am, Napoleon. You're right. 100%. And the $38 trillion in debt. Absolutely. Because we didn't take pitchforks and tar and torches and march on Washington and throw these bums out of office. You're 100% correct. Except I'll take the pass and say it's not my fault. I was overseas. I was defending liberty overseas 23 of my 36 years in the Army. Yeah, his visa canceled. Good. I hope he suffers a greater fate than that. Charles says, I'm not taking responsibility. Well, I just took responsibility for Biden's mess. Martin so desperately just because persecution, do something positive. This is literally a golden ticket. Learn about American history while you wait. Exactly. That's a good idea, Johan Rees. It was maybe Robbie Kempson who sent you a jersey. No, it wasn't. It was Bram von Straten, so we're sorted. So thank you for offering that, Yassine. By the way, I ran into Bram von Straten at the airport last year. I was walking back into our Tambo. I came to the escalator to go down to the luggage carousels. And right at the top of the stairs, this lady went in front of us, and I stopped to let her go. And the guy goes, I know you. And I'm like, searching my brain. I couldn't think. And then finally, I'm like, oh yeah. And it was Bram von Straten. It was pretty cool. So anyway, yeah. So you are never going to please everyone. Sorry to hear about that. Stay positive. You're still touching people's lives. Well, no, thank Francois. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying I won't do something. I'm just saying this is what people put up with. This is what you put up with to help people. And by the way, the people who met me there were fantastic. The lady that managed the place was very friendly, as was one of my viewers. And the guys who came and showed up who were running the water plant there, they were very helpful, very friendly. They were fantastic. I enjoyed that. But after I left, people ran their mouths about me. Anyway, if I look like a pincushion on my way to the U.S., so be it. Bring on the jabs. That's funny. Just imagine a few years, a baby born from Southern parents, American citizen, becomes POTUS. Yeah. We're still waiting for our unabridged birth certificate. We have our baptism certificate and our parents' information. I don't know, Sue. I don't know. It depends on what state or the federal government would they accept for. I don't know. I've never applied for a green card, and that's what you need it for. Erica says, I'm sorry about that. Sadly, some folks don't want to be helped. Yeah, I think that's the bottom line. Some folks don't want to be helped. Their suspicion clouds their judgment, and that's where they go. Yes, Edward, the letter was unnecessary. I agree. But I politely answered it. So, anyway. Yeah, and I get this all the time, folks. All the time. Not all, but a lot. I just left the WhatsApp group because I'm not nice people. The link was on last night's Cafe Clutch. So now I can say, been there, done that, and got a t-shirt. Nola Buckerfield, you were in the Cafe Clutch. But that's not a WhatsApp group. That was a broadcast. Are you talking about the Cafe Clutch WhatsApp group? I'm a little lost, Nola. Please share so we can understand what happened. I think there are still Arab people waiting in Pakistan to be a refugee. Well, Pakistanis aren't refugees, but I got you. Tuscan Sun says I'd love to attend a meet and greet. Well, I do lots of them. That's another thing. I kill myself with meet and greets. By the way, occasionally people hand me little gifts, and I've gotten some, super chat money at meet and greets. But trust me, the amount of time I put in, that's certainly not the motivation for doing it. It's to pay it back to my audience, to show respect for those who take the time to watch my content and participate in a wide army, and also to get to know people. Everybody's got a story, but it's exhausting. This last one was very exhausting. I needed a vacation. When I came back, I was completely knackered, and I was sick too. I had that affliction I picked up in South Africa. But then I had to go straight into the Memorial Day parade for the Veterans Organization, organizing that, making that, pulling that off. And then right after that was the election. I had to do the primary election. And it wasn't until after the primary election, about 8 days after I got back, that I could actually catch my breath. It was rough. Passport received today in only 5 days. Wow, Beulah. Wow, that's incredible. You're welcome, Stan Foster. My pleasure. Yep. The Vale says, I do apologize, but you could have worn a jersey from a better rugby team. That's fine, Vale. I wear all kinds of rugby jerseys, but I've worn this one before, so I bought this on the last trip or the one before that. I wear all kinds of rugby jerseys. Yep. Yeah, Milk and Ice says we hold a meet and greet every day at 6 p.m. Actually, we hold one every morning at 5 a.m. South Africa time, 11 p.m. here. That's the meet and greet. For some, it's rather the devil you know than the one you don't, and why most people sit in the situations they're in. As soon as fake news gets me down, I come to your videos for reassurance. Okay, Saving Private Ryan, thanks. Last Evans, I have no idea what it means to be a U.S. citizen. My daughter became a citizen 2 weeks ago after years of hard work. Freedom and liberty is not cheap experience. Well, Johan Risa, congratulations to your daughter. Welcome to the team. Is she born by sea? No, just kidding. Okay. Glad I got to see you at Open Plus. My daughter wanted to see the she kept saying on YouTube. I'm glad you're looking much healthier than the day at Open Plus. I was knackered that day. Yes, Hugo, I was very knackered, and that sun was brutal. That was a tough day for me, and that came right on top of travel up there. So yeah, but the Open Plus actually wasn't that bad. I'm sorry, it was not Open Plus. It was Centurion the next day. Centurion, where I was really bad. I was really hurting. No, I was okay at Open Plus, and I'm sorry I didn't get to spend more time with people. It was tough, but I went out of my way to try to greet everybody there. Nola says, nope, Chris, someone wanted to post a link to a container group, and you gave him or her temporary rents. I joined that group. They seem to be mean and horrible. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Nola. Okay, that group. Yeah, I asked to join the group, too, to see what's going on. I haven't looked at it. I just joined it earlier, so we'll see. Yeah, I don't know what's... don't worry about mean people. If we can get information on stuff like that, we'll get it for you, okay? Vikas, I have plenty of Sharks jerseys, okay? But thank you, Nola. Now I understand what you're talking about. Yeah, that WhatsApp group. Okay, gotcha, yeah. Braun got passports in 7 days. Yep. So it just depends which office you go to. I'm going to pick up my passport Wednesday, ready in 6 days. There's a lot of good news going on passports here. They blocked you in the meantime. Else go read their comments. Okay, let me see. So I don't know if they blocked me. Where's the container at? So let me see. Why would they block me? Oh, you're right. They took me out. They took me out. What the fuck? I didn't even post anything in the group. What a bunch of assholes. What a bunch of assholes. I hope you all rot in hell. Wow. What a bunch of frauds. What a total bunch of frauds. Unbelievable. Can you believe that? This is the group I'm talking about. Cost container sharing. And these assholes let me join the group and then they kick me out of it. What a bunch of assholes. What a bunch of shitty fuckwad fucktwit assholes. Well, Nola, I'm with you on that one. What a bunch of shitheads. Wow. I never even said anything in there. I joined it and then they blocked me. Wow. Wow. That's insane. That's insane. Wow. That's insane. Seriously. You send me an invitation to join the group and then you delete me from it. Wow. Anyway, yeah. Why would you delete me from the group unless you're afraid I'm going to expose something you're doing that's wrong? Why? I didn't even post anything in there. I accepted the invitation, I went there, and then they kicked me out. That's insane. Wow. Wow, that's... Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow. Why send me an invitation and then kick me out? Oh, dear God. Oh, my goodness. Oh my goodness, that's too funny. I didn't call anybody out. I didn't call anybody out. Hey Vincent, thanks. No, I'm not looking for any memorabilia. Thank you, I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Maybe Sandra, you might be right. That's funny. But what the hell? Why did they kick me out? I didn't even say anything. I got to make a video on that one. That's crazy. It's like inviting you to the party and then chasing away at the door. What are you doing here, white man? A lot of insider politics, if you ask me, but I do not like people like that. Someone said they do not want you in their group because some person does not like you. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm going to make a video about them now. Now I have to make a video about them. Yep. Oh my God, they're fucktwits. I swear to God. Stupid people should wear signs. Wow. Wow. Because someone doesn't like me. Good. I hope none of you come over here. Hope none of you come over here. Useless turds. Not you guys. That group. For the pet lift group, and a colonel made a video stating the pet lift group is a I did not make a video saying that. That's not true, Nola. I never said that. I never said the pet lift group is a scam. I never said that. I said correctly that someone telling you that it only costs $200 to ship a pet to the United States sounds like a scam. That's what I said. That's what I said. Well, they can post all the lies they want in there. Bunch of dumbasses, I'll say. Wow. Wow. And Nola says, yep, that is what I said correctly. Getting passports was quick, like 1 week. Well, I'm going to have to go make a video on their group. Well, I don't know, Tuscan. So all I know is they took me out of there. Yes, Nola, it's a lot more. I know. I have done it. None of them have shipped pets to America. Maybe one or two have. I have done it. I have shipped pets from America through South Africa and from Botswana back through South Africa to America. And it cost me almost $10,000. As far as I know, Sandy, the pet lift is legit. I don't know about the groups, the WhatsApp groups, but I know as far as I know it is. I have never said anything bad about pet lift. All I said was when someone came in my chat and said there was a WhatsApp group and they're telling people that you can ship, and they came in my chat, and they said that's when it was. Someone came in my chat. Nola, you were here. Someone came in my chat and said, "Oh, it only costs $200 to send your pets to America." I said, "That's nonsense. It doesn't cost $200. Who told you that? That sounds like a scam." And then people started mentioning the pet lift. I didn't say that. I didn't even know who they were. What a bunch of fucktwits to lie about people like this. $13,000 for a cat on Emirates. That's actually pretty good, Nola. That's pretty good. But that's because you don't have to go through the crap that we go through to get into South Africa. That's where the true cost comes. So $13,000, that's going to be about, what, $800? Yeah, $700. Yep. Nine cats. Woo! He called you the cat lady, sorry. Yeah, I went full NCO there, Jesse. I mean, what a bunch of horse manure. What a bunch of horse manure. Was a guy, and then a week or so after that, you had the interview with the lady. Exactly. This is for them. Unbelievable. What a bunch of wusses. Afraid of the truth. Look, knock them down. One more stupid troll comes along, knock them down. They lie, knock them down. Yeah, and people cry about the vetting process, and these little shits kick people out of WhatsApp groups, and they whine about the vetting process. Well, yeah, that you're talking about the pets. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the container group. Wow. Dion David's Kings repping in the building. Oh, you like that? See, somebody likes the jersey. James Moray likes it. Who are we raging on? Well, we weren't raging. We were just reading a letter to the Colonel, but then Nolo mentioned something about leaving a WhatsApp group, and I thought she was talking about my WhatsApp group. So what's a WhatsApp group? Yes, Flying Dutchman, the $200 was cleared up. Because, as Morgan said, that was $200 for one of the requirements. People hear what they want to hear. Americans coming to South Africa is like vegans going to Bri. Well, Milk and Honey, I was going to Botswana to clarify the situation, and I had to send my stuff through South Africa, my pets. Don't worry, Colonel Thousand, support you, appreciate you. Wow. Yeah, okay, so that's funny. Wow. That's hilarious. You know what? There's some really stupid, thick people in South Africa, and I hope they never come here. I hope those people never come. We don't need idiots like that here. We don't need those kind of idiots over here. They can stay there and suffer in misery. They can stay there. Yeah, they can stay there. Stupid people should wear signs. Liars should wear signs. Red letters. Big L on their chest. Loser, liar. L squared. Yep. Did you find my email? I just redid it. 60. Okay. Hang on, Milk and Honey. Wow, that's insane. Huh? Oh, okay. Is this for Bugger Off Bunny?
He's got fluff like clouds with fury in his stare. A blue blur of justice with a...
No, that's a different song. What am I looking for here? I don't see anything from you. Unless your name is different than what's on the screen. No, I don't see anything there. Very two-faced buttholes. You do, Gabby. You got some really two-faced. Sent you some emails. Info you may want to read. Okay. Yeah, Sandy, I saw those about a story. Thank you, Gerda, for being a member. Darwin was right about now. Like stupid people will select themselves out. Wearing your initials, what? TK. Oh, Tessa, hey. Yes, I agree. You should all stay here. Give us fatigue. Yeah. Popularity and notoriety. No, the 200 was from the titer test. That's what it was for. Why do you care so much about South Africa? Yellow margarine. Is your question genuine or are you trolling? I didn't read the comments. I don't read comments of Washington Post because it's inhabited bunch of, you know, flying monkey crowd like you have in South Africa. Erica says, I'm also in the container group. Once you are in the main group, you must tell them which province you are from. Well, I don't know anything about that, Erica. I just know that they sent me an invitation. I went there and then they kicked me out. They didn't send me a message saying you didn't tell us. I accept the invitation. There were no instructions, just said go there. And they kicked me out. Off to sleep. Okay, Mandy, take care. No, Nola, the $200, because I asked Morgan about that. She said that was for a titer test. That was one titer test. And South Africans heard what they wanted to hear, $200. Oh, that's it. 4,000 Rand, I'm good. No, that's for one titer test because they have to send it abroad because you can't test it in South Africa. That's what Morgan said, if I recall correctly. Whatever the case is, there's no way it's $200. It isn't $200. Yes. Well, no. Okay. I don't know what people are saying in the group. What I know is that Morgan didn't say for cats. You don't do a titer test for cats. She didn't say that. She said that only applies to dogs. Yep. Yes, I have WhatsApp, my PC, Milk and Honey. Yes, absolutely. I also believe that it would be prudent for us not to share other groups the refugees did. Yeah, I'm growing tired of all these stupid groups that are cropping up. Most of them are being counterproductive. Yeah, and when you offer me to go in there and then you take me out, I mean, what the heck? What is that? What is that? What is that? Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, that's why I don't know who to look for. Thank you. Now I can find you. Okay, but I still don't have anything. You must have sent it to the wrong email address. Nope, it's not there either. Don't have the wrong email address. Don't have the correct email address. Nope. By the way, now that I've got 100,000 subscribers, guys, I am getting hit every day with stuff from these companies that want me to take advantage of their services to help my channel. Yeah, I don't see your email, but I did find your WhatsApp. Okay. Right, it's taking a long time to load it. Your SharePoint. Still loading. Okay. Okay. Substack. Okay, I see this. Yeah, cool. Daily news. Let me. Is that a streaming thing? 30 frames per second. No, that's not a streaming thing. Download. Okay, what's that? Did somebody just... Thank you, Tuscan Sai, for your membership. So you have your plaque. Drop the 90th and then you won't be spammed anymore. No, Nola, we're not doing that. Thank you very much. Thank you for playing. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Elvis loves you. You're a fine American. Oh, okay. All right. So here it is, but... Then I'll have to adjust my camera. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that because it's not a clear background. That's sexier, yeah. But I'm going to have to figure out how to use that. All right, thank you for that. Okay, I'll be able to find that stuff later on. Thank you for that. Now I know who you are, but before it's just a phone number. Okay, Vale, you're off. Take care. Okay, going for passports Friday. Got the song Leaving on a Jet Plane. There you go. Groups are pointless. They warp the facts and spit out facts. Spit out facts from the kernel. Yeah. Taking stuff in containers is really not worth it. We can count. Yeah, I know it's not, Anne-Marie. I know. That's why I try to tell people it's incredibly expensive. Oh, okay. Yellow margin is not trolling. Okay, well, yellow margin, I've told this story a million times, but I'll tell it since you ask, and I don't recognize you here. I was a young kid growing up, and we had Mozambique and Angola going through their liberation era. And then Rhodesia was also going through it, and I read those things in the library, in the magazines, Newsweek, U.S. News and World Report, Time, when they were real news magazines. And I used to read Soldier of Fortune there, and I became fascinated. I looked at maps and gazetteers, looked at Africa, like, well, this is cool. Followed it. And then as in high school, I read a book called The Covenant by James Mitchell, historical fiction about South Africa. And I'm like, wow, what a crazy, screwed up, and fascinating country. So I started following South Africa too around 1980. I went to university in 82, didn't study, left after a year to join the Army, went in the Army, went to school at night to get my degree in university, and decided by sitting in a education center in Bad Kreuznach, Germany in 1984 as a young soldier, trying to sign up for a college class at night. They had a pamphlet, and I picked it up and said, the U.S. Army Foreign Area Officer Program, you get to go to graduate school, the Army pays for it, and nice places like, back then, Harvard, Yale, University of Wisconsin-Madison, UCLA, this is before they all became woke. So that's cool. You go to language school, the Army pays for that. Thank you, Dusty, for 100 Rand. How much does one favor cost in Biltong? What's the favor? So you go to graduate school, then they send you to school for language. Yeah, cool. And then you go spend a year as like basically an intern in an embassy working for an attaché security system. I'm like, this is pretty cool. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for upgrading the platoon leader. Thank you so much, Paul von Nordvik. So I made a decision in 1984, in the summer of 1984, maybe it was the fall, that it might have been the fall, that I think it was summertime. I want to be regular Army officer. I want to go back to college, become a regular Army officer, become military intelligence. When the time is appropriate, become a foreign area officer for sub-Saharan Africa, stay in long enough to make full colonel, and become the defense attaché in South Africa. Every one of those goals I achieved except the last one, because by the time it was time for me to become the attaché, they had given the post to the Navy. It was no longer an Army post. So that's where my interest came from. In the 1980s, I started self-teaching myself Afrikaans after I became fluent in German, and became a rugby fan in 1982 at university. And so all those things just kind of dovetail. I'm an Africanist. I have lived in Tunisia, Liberia, Botswana, Malawi, Niger, Mauritania, Uganda, and Ethiopia across the African continent. I have rebuilt the armed forces of Liberia with a team who worked for me, spending about $200+ million in Liberia after the Civil War, activating 13 independent companies, 1 battalion, rebuilding most of their infrastructure, about 70% of it, and delivering 2,136, I think, soldiers and a requirement of 2,000. Ran the programs for the signals course, the intelligence course, the supply course, the infantry course, and many others, truck drivers course, military police courses, all that stuff. All those people work for me. I helped design the intelligence infrastructure for the Botswana Defense Force, taking it from an extra-constitutional body carrying firearms, wearing civilian clothes, and shooting criminals to one that respected the rule of law and answered to the commander of the defense force, not to the president of the country. And so I did that as well. Ran HIV programs across Africa, saved the one from failing in Botswana, designed and built one in Niger, designed and built one in Mauritania, and then rescued one and improved it in Uganda. Did clinics and schools, hunted terrorists, guest lecture at the G5 Sahel Defense College in Nouakchott, Mauritania, a guest lecture at the Nigerian War College in Abuja. Worked with peacekeepers, United Nations, trained with foreign militaries. Trained the forces, the Somali National Force, trained them in Uganda before they went to Somalia, and then also trained Uganda People's Defense Force for peacekeeping in AMISOM in Somalia, among other things. So I'm a graduate of L'École d'État-Major, the Staff College in Tunisia, the U.S. Army Intelligence Officer Basic Course, Advanced Course, Combined Armed Services Staff School, U.S. Army Command General Staff College, and U.S. Army War College, among others. I'm a published author in academic circles by Stellenbosch University and by the U.S. Army War College, plus in popular press. Currently a contributing author to the Institute for Race Relations Daily Friend. I just had a story published there recently. In fact, I'll get you that link very quickly. And I speak 6 languages to varying degrees of proficiency. Indeed, that is a little bit about me, and that's why I have an interest in Africa and South Africa in particular. I started a consultancy when I left active duty to convince American businesses to go in business in Africa. And the COVID scam started, so I wasn't able to travel, and so I started putting videos on my existing personal YouTube account, which grew from 2 to 23,000 subscribers, and it was already 15 years old at the time, with just 2 subscribers, because as an intelligence officer on active duty, I couldn't be posting on social media like that. So I put a couple waterfall videos from my trip to Iceland in 2006 on there and let it ride. And then in February of 2020, I started posting on there. And by April, I was live streaming. And from April until November, I went from in that time frame to 23,000 subscribers. And then YouTube came after me, censored and removed my channel falsely on things I never did. Destroyed my business model and ruined my momentum that I had. I started this channel as a second channel the same week, and from April of 2021 until now, it's grown from nothing to 105,000 subscribers. Does that answer your question, sir? Carhartt has great stuff, yep. Planned by new clothes in the U.S., not sure where we'll be based at first. Might be in the north, like North Dakota, I don't think. KOA jacket's not going to do you a trick, yeah. Yellow margarine sounds better. It came through as... if you are American, not good to hear. I've been to South Africa probably 500 times. And I lived next door for a long time. So Yellow Margarine, did I answer your questions? Okay. You guys don't have to interrogate Yellow Margarine. I just want to make sure Yellow Margarine wasn't a troll. And because we get them all the time. Just this morning, listening to you while driving, you mentioned the news at Washington Post about having 1,000 refugees by September. Do you think that number will climb eventually? Well, of course. Okay, guys. Okay, let's be very clear about this. Name your top 5 African militaries. Botswana, Rwanda, Tunisia, Angola, Egypt. Just off the top of my head. Yeah, okay, so the refuge, please listen to me, folks. Please pay attention, okay? I got someone who wrote me messages over and over again, and I'm beginning to wonder if they were just trolling me. Okay, the United States federal government works on a fiscal year, as do most businesses. But the fiscal year runs 1 October to 30 September, okay? Budgets and continuing resolutions only carry you through normally to the end of the fiscal year. This fiscal year, there was no plan to take in South Africans as refugees. We had plans to take in Sudanese and Somalis and Congolese and Burmese and Chinese Uyghurs. None of that was planned for the South Africans. So when Trump issued the executive order after suspending funding to all the refugee program, that put the State Department in a conundrum. What did they do? Well, they decided on a pilot project. Why? Because they didn't have money. Number one, they had to find money. That took time. Number two, they had not done in-country refugee status for a long time. So they put that together and they brought people over in a pilot project. Now, the Trump administration is clearly, or Rubio on his own, have given direction to PRM to get at least 1,000 refugees from South Africa over here by the end of the fiscal year. They have to move money. They don't have a lot of money to do this. The next fiscal year, that's what the big, beautiful bill is about. The next budget, if it gets approved, it'll be the first time we've had a budget approved in probably 25 years before the year starts. That's why Trump gave them a deadline, if that happens. If not, it'll be continuing resolutions, and it'll still be spotty. But if that budget's approved, there's money in there for refugee resettlement, and then the pace will pick up. The 1,000 refugees that the Washington Post told you about, and when they lied about them being Afrikaners and being white and yada, 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 that's partial truth, which is a lie by omission, is the effort to get at least 1,000 here by the end of the fiscal year, before the money's gone and before the year ends. So that averages out to 11 or 12 per day, 7 days a week between now and 30 September. That's what the 1,000 are, okay? I hope that's clear. I've explained that several times now, and I don't understand why it's so difficult for people to understand. Probably because you're not watching my videos. No, the South African military is not in the top 5 in Africa. Carlo Kalitz says, thank you so much for what you're doing. You're welcome. Only recently came across Colonel, and I think he is amazing. He's knowledgeable and someone I can look up to. Thank you, Yellow Margarine. Guys, please don't start with the post about 1,000. It took more than 30 minutes for a previous broadcast. Yeah, we're done with it. That's the end of that. What's your opinion on the author of Trumponomics, Stephen Moore? If Stephen Moore is the economist I know, then he's a good guy, but that might be someone else. No, I don't say you're trolling, Yellow Margarine. I just asked the question. You answered adequately, and I've answered your question, so... Where did you stay in Botswana? In the government enclave in Gaborone. Yeah, I know Francistown area. Yep. I lived, because I worked at the embassy. So I lived literally 5-minute drive from the embassy. Yeah, that's the guy. I think he's great. He's great. Unless he's done something crazy I don't know about. Anyway, the purpose of this was to read a letter that someone sent me. Someone making all kinds of false inferences and false conclusions based on their view. And their view is incorrect. So the purpose was to set the record straight so that people understand what's really happening. what's really happening. Anyway, so there you go. Any other questions? Well, Pablo Charlie, why am I not in the Trump administration? Why don't you ask yourself that question? Why don't you ask yourself that question? 14 direct flights. No, there aren't. No, there aren't. You mean daily? No. There's lots of airlines listing flights, but they're all routed through somewhere else. Where in the United States will you fly to from South Africa? D.C., New York. What's this? Skyscanner saying it's cheap. You can't fly to New York. It's Newark, but let's put D.C. Johannesburg to Cape Town. Go from Cape Town. And it's got next year on here already. There's nothing now. Yeah. Cape Town, JFK, Joburg, JFK, DC, LA. 17,000 Rand. That's KLM. But does that route? Let me try one of those. Cape Town to New York. Cape Town. Let's try that. September 2nd, September 9th. Let's see what the offers are, okay? See how it routes. What do you mean a poll on offers I get? Well, I guess KLM does fly here, but it's not a U.S. carrier, so. No, it's plus 1 day. Yeah, it's all plus 1 day because you're getting routed details. Yeah, you're not going direct. Yeah, you go through Amsterdam. See, there's no direct. The only direct flights right now, that my knowledge, from Cape Town or from South Africa to U.S. are United and Delta. That's it, to my knowledge. There are no other direct flights. You got to go through Europe, and I don't think they're taking the refugees through Europe. Don't think they're doing that. So, but things can change. Do you get my emails? I have no idea, Myrna. Is it listed as Myrna Bolton? Are your emails listed as Myrna or Marina? I do have an email from you on June 21st. Yes, I do. And I actually had looked at it. You sent me a video of you Stridham. I got that email. That was 9 days ago. That's the only email I have from you. More people can move to all flights consideration. Well, Sandy, that is an assumption on your part. We don't know what the requirement is, whether it has to be a direct flight or it can go through Europe. If it can go through Europe or go through Dubai, lots of flights can be done. And they may have to do that if the numbers pick up significantly, because there's only a couple planes a day coming from South Africa to the U.S. So, but I don't know the answer to that. Do you? I don't. That's an assumption on your part. I don't have any information that would confirm that. Werner Durant. Is it listed under Werner? Good Lord, Werner. Okay. Oh, there it is. I just saw it. June 1st. Yeah, you can, Werner. Okay, sorry. I don't know if I didn't see that before. You can send me that way. It's fine. My last post, maybe you discussed this before. If not, maybe we can talk sometime about if ever the West used South Africa as a proxy against communists. Well, of course. Of course. Of course. The apartheid regime was a proxy against the Russians, the East Germans, the Cubans, and the Chinese in Angola and in Mozambique. Absolutely, 100%. There's no doubt of that. We're pretty straightforward about that. That's one reason why South Africa wasn't called out during the apartheid era. It was the bulwark against communism. You must accept ads and not from the companies. Oh, Anton, are you asking if the ads that appear on my videos, I have no say in those. That's all done electronically by an auction by YouTube. I have no say. And here's the thing. If it bothers you that there's ads, you're going to say, well, Chris, why do you put advertisement on there? I could stop that, but you know what will happen? My views will plummet to 1/10 of what they are, and You'll never get notified, and you'll still watch videos or still watch ads. YouTube reserves the right to put ads on your content, whether you're monetized or not, whether you monetize the video or not. So I could say no ads, don't monetize this video, and they'll still have ads appear on it. They started that a year and a half ago. Yes, and YouTube promotes videos that have ads. So, I mean, I was stubborn for a long time. You know, that's the thing. No, I didn't say it bothered me. What I'm saying, that's the thing. For a long time, I had a rule. This was my rule. No advertising on videos less than 5 minutes. I refused to put videos on. So anything that was 5 minutes or less, no ads. Also, I said no ads on tragedy. When someone's murdered or a farm attack, something like that, I'm not putting ads on that. So when I was in South Africa last year, the year before, I think it was last year, it was probably last year, Byron Shepard and I were talking in his office, and he said, Chris, if you don't put ads on all your videos, YouTube's not going to promote it, man. Why would they promote it? They're not going to make money. And I said, yeah, but YouTube said they're going to put ads on them anyway. So I think about changing. He goes, you should change. Otherwise, they'll get 100% of the money. You get nothing, and they still have ads, and they'll still piss off your viewers. I said, you're right. That's why I'm going to do it. So now, unless it's a murder or something like that, I put ads on all my videos. I don't put ads. I monetize them, which means, you know, people can advertise. So I have no control over that. The only control I have is if I promote products. The funny thing, though, earlier today, I received an email from YouTube. It's like a threatening email. This is weird. On my other account. Let me find this. It was from earlier. It's like a threat. I'm like, what is this for? I don't even do this. And they threaten me. And of course, it's one of their typical no response things. Where the heck's it at? There it is. YouTube shopping. Hello, America's Pulse with Chris Wyatt. That's my original channel, which is back up now since 2023. You are receiving this notice because you're part of the YouTube shopping affiliate program. This email is a reminder of YouTube's shopping product tagging guidelines. In addition to the removal of product tags that do not meet these guidelines, if your channel repeatedly violates these guidelines, you will receive warnings and will be at risk of losing access to the affiliate program. I haven't tagged anything. I'm not pimping any goods on any channel. So why am I getting a threatening message from YouTube? Please only tag products in your content if products are easily identifiable and feature prominently in your content. Products are meaningfully related to your content. A viewer may reasonably want to learn to buy a product that is based on its appearance in your content, and products are used as intended. This means you use your product along with manufacturer's intent and promote safe usage. I don't promote anything. I'm not even signed up for that in an account, but they sent me a threatening email. Basically said, we're going to suspend your account if you keep breaking the rules. What rules? I'm not even doing it. Do some of you really consider your pets to travel by airplane? Oh, yes, Beulah. Right here. Prince and Tara flew from Maryland to Botswana, and it was longer than 16, 17 hours. It was 14 hours over, then at the airport, then in a kennel for a few days, and then on to Botswana. Yeah, of course. Took my pet that way. Absolutely. They were that important. Even though I'm allergic to cats, they were that important to me. Really popular last 2 weeks. I don't know about being popular last 2 weeks. My viewership has dropped quite a bit, so I don't think I'm popular. Live streams are good, though. Oh, this is frozen. YouTube crashed again. Come on, YouTube. There we go. Finally. Slow. How are we doing on likes? I haven't even looked at that. 261 likes? Come on, man. No ads if you pay for premium. Oh, that's as a viewer. But I still get money. If you have YouTube Premium, I get a few cents off everything you watch. Yep. Okay. I flew from Joburg to Atlanta, and then my final destination using Delta last year. The price was not that big a difference flying via Europe. Yeah, but the time difference is because you got to spend 8 hours flying to Europe, 9 hours flying to Europe, then you got to layover, and then you fly to South Africa for 12 hours. Just do the 14 hours from Atlanta. Bring your blanket. There's blankets on the plane. There's blankets. Are you talking about for your cat? Oh, you meant people asked me to promote. Well, I've offered to promote things for South Africans, and I've run a few ads for people, and they always ask me how much I want for it. Nothing. I can't judge the efficacy of someone putting their ad in my channel. Like I promoted Boer Cola, Boer Beer. I also did that app, the finance app for Donnie recently, and I also promoted a couple other businesses a couple years ago. But no one ever sends me stuff, so, you know, whatever. Stronger headwind in the winter months, yep. Can U.S. states with budget surpluses establish sovereign wealth funds to invest in domestic and overseas assets? I don't know where you're going with that, Pablo Charlie. Many states invest their money in foreign assets for retirement accounts, like CalPERS, the California Pension System. But it couldn't be a sovereign fund because it's not a sovereign entity. They're a sovereign state within the United States, but yeah. Yeah, Dubai in Europe is tough. Yeah, that's unless you're coming direct to the States, taking a pet with you on a flight it's pretty dicey. Thank you, Dylan. I promote dingbats and doorknobs often. Okay. Bookboor in Scotland. Whereabouts in Scotland? Just want to get over the U.S. to get my green card. Well, Sandy, getting your green card won't mean anything for voting. You can't vote. You have to be a citizen. Green card is not citizenship. Green card is permanent residency. Citizenship is when you can vote. From Cape Town, I recently discovered the Colonel, but I've watched a few of his vids in a short period and joined this channel recently. I enjoy history and love his general knowledge. Well, thank you, Yellow Margin. Okay. Glasgow, not my favorite place, man. I prefer Edinburgh. Sorry, nothing against it. Nothing against it, but I prefer Edinburgh. It's much better. The one place I haven't been in Scotland, I've been to the Orkneys, I've been up north. One place I have not been is the Hebrides, Western Hebrides. Got to get there sometime. Okay, I think they mean they don't want the next administration to be able to kick them out because they don't have a green card. Well, they can't. Okay, let me deal with this very quickly. Okay. The administration cannot kick you out of the country because they're Democrats. It doesn't work that way. That's illegal. What Trump is doing is legal. The Democrats are making you think it's illegal, and that's why you're all freaking out. What Trump is doing is legal. First off, Biden gave millions of people temporary protected status, which is illegal. He had no basis in law for doing that. They're rescinding that now. There's no basis for it. Trump is kicking out criminal alien invaders who are here. No refugees are sent anywhere. Not a single refugee, because it's in law. And Trump can't send the refugees home unless they've done something to cause that. But no, you just can't be sent home. So don't worry about the Democrats. Once you have refugee status, you have refugee status. What you have to focus on is then getting your permanent residency. Otherwise, at some point you will be sent home if you don't apply for permanent residency. Okay? But let me put this in perspective for you. Liberians came here in 1990 on a 3-year special program letting them get out of the war in Liberia. It was a 13-year war, started off in 1990. They came over. 1990. 3 years. They're still here. 35 years later. They won't leave. Every time it's time for them to leave, they lobby D.C., the Black Congressional Caucus. Oh, we have a historic responsibility to Liberia. Take care of these people. And they extend it again and again and again. But you notice that didn't happen for the Haitians or the Venezuelans. They're going out. So they can't take it away from you, okay? So relax. Chill. Has nothing to do. Nothing to do with anything. But yeah, you got to get your green card. Gotcha, Sandy. I understand now. But the way you wrote it, it was I inferred incorrectly. I inferred incorrectly that you were implying that you wanted to vote. My bad. If we get to the States, will you promote divorce for us in exchange for regular supply? If it's good, Lynette, if it tastes like cock, I'm not going to promote it. But if they're good, I'll promote it. I'll help you build your business. I might even become an investor. What do you say about that? Just seems so sad for an animal to travel like that for 16 hours. I have pets and can't imagine. Do you think it's special for people to travel like that? You think it's fun? Traveling for 17 hours one way, 17 and a half hours, the second longest scheduled airline flight in the world in the wintertime? Woof. Borrow some C-17s. Yeah, we could do that. See, Sandy, I admitted I was wrong. That doesn't happen very often. Dog and cat population is up in Springfield. Yes, I know the Haitians are being kicked out, so they're not eating the dogs, they're not eating the cats. Why should illegal aliens get due process? They shouldn't get due process. They're criminals. Dems are demented, just like their leader Biden. Media only asked him how many scoops of ice cream he had after lunch. Exactly. Blame stupid South Africa. In the USA, your pets can travel with you in the cabin. Yep. Correct, Arctic. Spot on. Just tuned in. What's happening, Colonel? Oh, Estate Agent 101. That sounds like a secret spy thing, Estate Agent 101. Can you get me Estate Agent 101? Yes. What are you up to? What are you surveilling? Tell you, if the Colonel is the standard of the U.S. intelligence community, the world must be really afraid of the U.S. intelligence communities. Yellow Margin. Sadly, I must inform you that that's not the state of U.S. intelligence. We have a lot of dingbat doorknobs, uninformed twits, and useless dead weight in the intelligence community. I can tell you, I served at the Defense Intelligence Agency, at the National Security Agency, at the Pentagon, and worked with the CIA, the FBI, and many other organizations. We have a lot of incredible intelligence people. We have some real woozers too, real woozers out there. Anyone that thinks containers, cars, firearms have either never traveled or immigrated anywhere or are delusional or millionaires. When I left the UK for South Africa, I left with a shirt on my back. Neil Yardy, what's going on, man? How's the rugby culture in USA? It's very popular at the club level. Yep, we've got a lot of club level rugby, very popular. It's popular in universities. We have some really big universities. Cal is big. Cal Bears are big in it. We've got Kutztown here in Pennsylvania, which is big in it. The Army and Navy academies, they have big teams in colleges. And there's a number of other really good programs, University of Arizona. But it's hit and miss. It's not something everybody grows up with. It's like lacrosse. People here on the East Coast, huge lacrosse. Johns Hopkins, all these Rutgers, all these schools over here on the East Coast, huge stuff. But that's where it's restricted to. Nobody plays lacrosse in Ohio. Nobody plays lacrosse in Iowa. I've never seen it there. So rugby's the same way, but it's here, there, everywhere. And the problem is we never had a professional sport until about 7 years ago, and it's still building. The World Cup will probably have a big impact on growing interest in the game. People watch it on TV, and there'll probably be lots of kids that go out and try to play. So I expect that in 2031, I think that's when we get the World Cup, the Men's World Cup, we will... Is it 2135 or 2035? Maybe it's 2035. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, we got the World Cup coming up. We got women's and then the men's. And when the men's come, the game is going to grow in immense popularity. And there'll be a lot of people that need to start clubs and have officials. So that's going to be something that's going to be prepared for. Can we do a poll if you could? Leave USA tonight with nothing or spout. Okay, there you go. All right, we'll do that. Okay. Okay. If you could leave the South African as a refugee to America, would you drop everything and go? I think that answers the spirit of what you're asking there. You're going to say Rugby World Cup is in 21. Yeah, that's the men's, and 2027 is the women's, right? Love watching Americans react to the most feared rugby team, Springboks videos. They can't believe how hectic it is. Yes, because it's a mechanical keyboard. That's why I usually put my mouse on, not my mouse, my mic on silent. Next nominees for President of the United States determined by political parties. I could run for president if I want, but I don't know anybody, I don't have any money, so it's not going to go anywhere. And then you get on the ballot in each state. Website of Malema's awful, hate-filled, racist comments over the years of the Civil War. Yeah, okay. Robert says, I'll travel light. Bring one bag, laptop. I ran into us at the Cape Town airport. He was a whole head taller than me and looked like he could run out for the Bucks. Yeah, when I met with Victor Matfield in August 2022, he made me look like a shrimp. Dude's tall. I'm tall, but he's tall. Yeah, let me see. I got this here. 2022. Do I have it here? That would be August to September. I think it's September 2022. So let's see if it's here. Okay. Yeah, I think there's me with Joel Stransky. I'll bring that one up real quick for you guys. Here I am with Joel Stransky in Santon. So let me show you that. There's Joel Stransky and I at Santon when he signed my rugby ball. And then I left it behind at the hotel. That was so bad. And there was a big mission to get it back for me. The guys were awesome getting it back for me. So that's Joel Stransky. Let me see if I can't find Victor Matfield. Was it before this or after that? Hang on. Sometime around here. There is Victor Matfield. Here we go. Like I said, I'm tall, but Victor makes me kind of look short. He's not that much taller than me, but he felt because he's just a big guy. So this is Victor Matfield and I. That's at Linwood Bridge. Thank you, Damian Schultz, for the 14 Rand super chat. U.S. is huge in equestrian stuff. We are huge. We lead the world in Olympic equestrians, dressage, and all that. We're big. We're big. But that's for rich people. We're huge, JP. Yeah, dressage, show jumping. Oh, yeah. Huge. You're going to find it in places like New York, places like that. Yep. Planning on selling, okay, rugby games. Was there ever a time during your career that you considered living in South Africa? Yes, Pearl. I wanted to be the attaché there, obviously, but I mean, I don't get a choice in that. I can bid, but it was not available. Okay. Missed this chat. How long have we been on? We've been on for an hour and 25 minutes for what's going to be a 15-minute session just to read this letter that was sent to me by someone. So, but we went a lot longer. Trump did end the Syrian sanctions. Okay, he talked to us about he's going to do that. What about Major League Rugby, Vicus? Damon Schultz? I'm tall, but you're at least half a head taller than me. Sumantra Rao. Okay. Met Baki's Bota. He is a super tall, and then met Steve Hofmeyer, and he's shorter than I thought. Yeah, no, I got a picture of Steve and I recently. Let me see. I got a picture of Steve and I from this time frame. There's Donnie. Come on. Okay, when did I see Steve? I think it was when I came back from this. Let me see. I'm looking. I got lots of pictures with Steve, but I'm looking for one on this trip. That's the garden route. PE. Oh, there's Rob Hutchison. There's me with Rob Hutchison a couple years ago. And let me see. All right, I'm trying to find Steve Hofmeyer picture here where I'm standing with Steve. There's PE, zipping through PE now, flying back to Joburg. Oh, that's Cape Town. That's Dr. Peter Hammond. There's DHL Greenpoint Stadium. Maybe I missed the one with Steve. There's Joe Emilio and Jeremy Nell. There you go, folks. Joe Emilio and Jeremy Nell. This is at Tiger's Milk in Cape Town at Canal Walk. This is my meet and greet. You can see the sign back there. South African Tour 2022, The Colonel's Journey, Chris Wyatt Africa. Yep. There's a couple YouTube content creators there. I'm looking. I think I must have missed this with Steve because I'm in the Western Cape now, and I'm getting towards the end of this. Yeah, I wrapped up in Western Cape. Yeah, how did I miss that? Anyway. Yep. Oh, here's with, this is with Neil De Beer when Neil was looking a lot healthier. Neil looked a lot better there. Yep. And I'm just trying to see here. I'm guessing, yeah, so I must have zipped by it. Maybe it was not in August. Must have been before this. This is September. Maybe it was just before this. Let me go to August here. Maybe it was August when I saw Steve, but it would be at the end of August if I saw him. I'm trying to find that picture real quick. Okay. Oh, there's Ronell. Hey, Ronell. I'm looking at pictures of Ronell. Meet and greet. Ah, there's Monty Jackson. Okay, here I am with Monty Jackson and his wife. Yeah, look at that. Here we go. There's Monty and Crystal. Okay, now let me zip along a little further here. Ah, here I am with Nas Bota. Donald Stanford. You know Donald?
Yeah. But India against the same strength in a nice competition might actually hold its own. And the thing is that we don't see. So there's seriously somewhere along.
I didn't have microphones then. I wish I had, but yeah, that was with Nas, and that was in Bloemfontein. So where the heck is? Where's the Steve thing? I can't find the Steve picture. I know I met with Steve. Maybe it was, I don't know. Maybe I didn't meet with him this trip. I thought I did. Anyway, not important. Not important, guys. Oh, there's the comrades. That was cool. Just blundered into the comrades. That was pretty cool. So, yep. Yep, that was pretty cool. Here's Chatsworth with Karu Charu.
Give me a minute. Hang on. What's that? Extra.
What a pigsty.
Somebody had that. And I good stuff up there.
So that was Chatsworth. Karu Charu. Yep. Anyway, I guess I don't have that one for Steve handy here. Oh, here's me with the Khoisan king. This is at the Parliament in Pretoria. And Fatima Abdul Kaliru. And the Khoisan king. That was pretty cool. Right. Haman's Kral. Working my way back. There's Herman Ruiz. Yeah, I don't see where Steve. Anyway, it's not important. I'll do it some other time. Okay. Met you at Strand meet and greet. I'm taller than you. Not sure what that is in feet. 194. I'm 192, I think. Maybe you should get U.S. travel visa because this crap hits the fan. On the other hand, what's this? Monty is also from Vanderbilt Park. Yes, I know, Lynette. I've been to his house. Yeah, there's a picture of me and Steve in one of the intros. That's the more recent one. 6'2", 20 minutes from Cape Town International, okay? One realize how old you are when looking at the likes of Joel Stransky. Yes, Chris Holmes. Joel. And that was 3 years ago. Nothing with me and Julius. Chris Ayler said I should contact you. Detail from you. My initial mail was sent June 21. Okay, hang on. Okay. Okay, let me reach out to Chris. I'll leave that email open, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. It sounds like the storm's coming. Brother was with my dad at Peter Maritzburg. Oh, I didn't know that. Because it's French. Cornell. It's French. That's why it's pronounced by the English. So that's why it's spelled that way. All right, that's going to be it, folks. This was not the intent to go this long, but just want to read that letter. So, but wow, what the container guys took me out. That was very rude, wasn't it? Very rude. Wow. Anyway, thanks, everybody. Have a good one, and we'll catch you later. I'll be back on later tonight. Yep, and we'll catch you then, okay? Be safe. Take care. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Cheers.